Hi, and welcome to the World of K. My name is Nolita, your host. Today we'll be talking about cancel culture. Cancel culture is when someone shares an unpopular opinion or does an unpopular behavior that seems toxic and problematic to the rest of society. This results in the boycotting of that person and the work that they do. In Korea, cancel culture works a little bit different. What will happen is that if someone does something that is unfavorable and problematic to society, then what they typically do is that they issue out a public apology that they read in the form of a letter in front of the press. Then they tell the public that they will be leaving their respective idol groups and retiring from the music industry altogether. However, this does not mean that the person is not going to benefit from whatever the activities that the current members are currently partaking in. They'll still get money from the music, from whatever promotions that they did, from whatever other content that they partook in. And this is the reality of K-pop. Another thing is that whatever charges that were pressed on them, those charges mysteriously disappear over time and nothing comes to it. An example of this is last year, mid-2018 until mid-2019 this year, Seungri was involved in a sex scandal, particularly called the Burning Sun scandal, where he and a few other K-pop idols were involved in allegedly raping women, exploiting women, and creating escort companies in Korea. And escort companies in Korea are illegal, and so is prostitution. When this was discovered by investigative journalists, what happened was that it turned out that they had been doing this for many years. And YG, the CEO of YG, had also been involved in the scandal and had been paying government officials to sweep the whole issue under the rug, because some of the clients were YG officials, were also the government officials, and some of them were also in the police department as well. However, because YG makes so much money, to this day, the company hasn't really taken a blow. The company is still afloat. YG has retired from his position. However, he still does get money from the company. And most of the reason why these companies hide or sweep the charges under the rug is because they will lose a lot of money, millions within hours, and the group will suffer itself. So that's why they have to keep everything under wraps. Apart also from the fact that the reason why they're keeping it under wraps is because of higher officials in government also being involved in the scandals. This is much like what was happening in the 50s, 60s, and 70s in traditional Korean K-pop music, where government officials and military officials were involved in a whole lot of sex scandals and prostitution rings in the country. The difference, however, is that during then, it was quite open and common knowledge that these things were happening, and nothing was done about it. This was during the times of the Korean Wars, and this was happening between government officials from Korea and government officials from Japan. And it was common knowledge, and no one really talked about it. It wasn't as problematic as it is now. Obviously, over the years, Korea has implemented regulations and rules about the trafficking of human bodies, or about, prostitution or sex work in the country. And so now it is illegal for anyone to make that into a business. However, this does not mean that it's not common. What is also happening is that a lot of these entertainment companies take their girl groups and make them perform in front of government officials or older men. And basically what they do is that they pimp them out. An example of this is Blackpink. There's a video on YouTube where Blackpink went to go and perform at a certain government official event. It's online, it's everywhere. Blackpink was performing, and what happened was that they were wearing very short skirts, very tight skirts, tight tops, and they looked visibly uncomfortable. And the room was filled with old men, nobody else but old men, government officials, political officials, people from the police, and they were busy dancing for them. And in one part, Lisa ends up bending down to do a dance move, and one of the men also bends down to look under her skirt. This is something that happens. So a lot of these companies are pimping their girl groups out to many people. However, a lot of international fans are like, no, they should be cancelled. They should be cancelled. The group should be cancelled. The company should be cancelled. Everyone should be cancelled. But it doesn't work that way in Korea. Korea, things mysteriously disappear and then that's it. People issue out letters and that is an apology and that's it. And then they supposedly, retire, inverted commas, and then that's it. However, we know that even if they retire, they are going to have a say in the production of K-pop and they're still going to earn money. So they're not necessarily cancelled. So we can say they're cancelled in the sense that they're not working in front in the scenes, but they are working behind the scenes. However, you decide whether or not you want to call it cancel culture or if you just want to say that cancel culture in Korea in general does not exist. This is what Seungri had to say for his sex prostitution, ring, and escorting companies. This is his apology. As I am a celebrity, I will think and act more carefully from now on. I want to apologize for not showing modesty and for acting carelessly. For the past year, I've been doing my best to bring you all happiness, but I have brought you disappointment, and for that I'm ashamed. I want to apologize once again, and I will take all your words to heart. I've put a lot of preparation into this. I will be grateful if you enjoy the concert. I think that would make me feel like I'm at work and that it's all worth it. Also, one of his other good friends also issued out an apology to the public, and this is what it entailed. I write to you in shame and guilt. I, Jung Jung-young, once again realized the seriousness of the situation after returning to Korea in March 12th. Although it's already late, I apologize through this letter to all the people who showed an interest in me and gave me a second chance. In regards to what is being said in relation to me, I admit to all my crimes. I filmed women without their consent and shared it on social media chat room. And while I did so, I didn't feel a great sense of guilt. As a public figure, it was an unethical act worthy of criticism and such a thoughtless action. More than anything, I kneel and apologize to the women who appear in the videos who have learned of this hideous truth as the incident has come to light, and to many people who must be angry at the situation over which they cannot contain their disappointment and astonishment. I am withdrawing from all the programs that I was appearing on, and I will suspend all activities in the entertainment industry. I will now set down all my activities as a public figure that are not self-reflection. I'll reflect for the rest of my life on my immoral and illegal actions related to the crime. More than anyone else, I apologize to the women who have experienced great suffering due to my actions, to the many people who must feel anger even more so than disappointment, and to the many people who have made me into a public figure and cherished me. Once again, I deeply apologize. I am sorry. Jung Jung-young. Seungri's friend, unlike Seungri, has more evidence piling up against him. Even till this day, there are documentation that has been issued out. However, he is still not in jail. Why? Because he is a well-known singer in Korea. He's powerful. There is nothing that anyone can do. And unfortunately, the victims of this whole Burning Sun scandal still haven't found justice. We don't know if they even were taken for trauma counseling. We don't know what's going on. There's an actress who died 2 years ago, and it was discovered that she was also a victim of sexual abuse within the K-pop industry. And what happened is that the companies and everyone involved were not charged. Recently, her friend came out saying that she wants to tell the whole world what is going on. And she is about to release some sensitive information. She already did in the beginning of this year, but she's going to release some more. However, even now, nothing has happened. No one has been arrested. And this friend of an actress has been put in a safe house to ensure her safety because she is afraid that some people will be out to get her, and it's understandable. Let me read you an account from one of the women who was victims of the Burning Sun scandal. I got to know Jung Jung-hyun in 2012 through an acquaintance, and I've known Mr. Kim since 2013. One of my friends was dating Seungri at that time, so we used to hang out as a group. In early 2016, Jung Jung-hyun called me to grab a drink for the first time in a while, as he was hosting a fan signing event. The 5 members of the group chat and I, a total of 6 people, had a few drinks in 3 different locations. I was a bit drunk, but there were 2 more celebrities, and since I had known them for a few years, I let my guard down. They told me they booked a suite at a hotel and wanted to drink more there. But as soon as I drank alcohol at the hotel, I lost consciousness. I woke up because my head ached. My clothes were off and Choi Jung-hyun was laying next to me laughing. Since I didn't have any clothes on, I asked them, "What is going on?" They said, "Don't you remember?" and chuckled. They came close to me while I was fully naked and teased me by saying, "Try looking for your underwear." They even poked me around while jokingly suggested that we should have sexual intercourse. When I told them to stop, they gave me back my underwear. I found my clothes, got dressed, and got out of the hotel. That's what I remember from that day. I do not remember anything after I lost consciousness after drinking at the hotel. I was taking pills for a panic disorder, so I loosely thought that might have been the reason why I passed out. The back of my head was swollen as if I had hit my head against something. When I woke up fully naked in the morning, I felt shameful, but I wasn't aware of what was going on. I couldn't ask. After I got out of the hotel, Jung Jung-young, Choi Young-hyun, and Kim contacted me as if nothing happened. Choi Jung-hyun even said, "See you later." It was hard for me to rashly ask them. And as we can see from that reading, how sick these men are. And we can see that there's nothing that has happened as of yet. The woman is still out there fearing for her life. Nobody is trying to assist her in any way. Yes, the news companies are reporting on her story, but it just ends there. In a world where we are trying to encourage the hashtag #MeToo movement and we are trying to make a trend so that victims can come out and speak their truths and speak their experiences, we are also unfortunately witnessing a society that says, yes, we welcome your stories, however, we won't do anything about it. Western societies are not saying that they are at a better off position. However, Western societies, social media is one platform that is used to help people who have been victims of certain crimes. However, in non-Western countries, this is not happening. Social media is the driving force, is the foundation of creating social awareness and cancel culture. Whereas in non-Western countries, not that they don't have technologies, because South Korea is very advanced when it comes to technology and social media. It's just that when it comes to victims, they never have a voice. Social media is always tracked. Everyone is always under surveillance. So people cannot say what they want to say on social media because it will impact their life. It will impact where they go to school, which job they get, who they work with. Life can be very difficult. And so that's why it is very difficult to have free speech, very difficult to have an opinion, very difficult to create a cancel culture movement or the hashtag #MeToo movement in countries where it is supposedly a democracy, but it's very difficult to speak your truth. When it comes to issues of sexual abuse, sexual harassment, or any crimes that are particularly aimed at women, Korea does not speak much about those. Korea is very patriarchal and very misogynistic. However, this is not to say everyone in Korea is like that. Some people are, but not everyone is. So it's important to to take note of that. But what is unfortunate is that women are always objectified, whether it's in the workplace or whether it's at home. So that is why they never have a say over their bodies. Their bodies are always policed within the Korean society and within the K-pop industry. They can't speak out for themselves. The culture in itself does not allow for women to have a platform to speak whatever truth or to speak whatever situations or experiences that they are going through, whether it's sexual abuse, whether it's misogyny, whether it's any form of other abuse or any form of discrimination that is aimed at them based on the fact that they are a woman. They don't have a platform for that. The society in itself is structured around making the man be the only one to have a say when it comes to certain issues or certain, occurrences that happen in the country and in the society at large. Some K-pop fans have gone far as to say that the issues that are happening in K-pop, particularly the sexual abuse, is a modern day version of comfort women. If you don't know, in the past in Japan, they had a war with Korea, with other Asian countries as well. And what happened is that a lot of the women ended up being comfort women. So they were sex slaves to all the soldiers and all the military officials. They were raped, they were abused, they were brutalized, they weren't fed, they did nothing. They were treated purely as sex slaves to relieve the men of their tension before they went into a battle or before they went into a certain war. And what is happening today is that these fans are saying, well, that's what's happening with these K-pop women. They are becoming comfort women for all these government officials who do have wives or do have partners at home, but they choose to use their power to take advantage of K-pop idols within the industry. However, it is also important to note that even though a lot of women are facing sexual abuse within the K-pop industry, a lot of men are facing the same abuse as well. It's not as great as women. However, it is happening and we cannot ignore that either. A few months ago, a boy group came out asking for help. And what's surprising is that they did it on social media. So I don't know how nobody knows how they were able to access the social media account because the social media account is run by their manager. But they were able to access the social media account and they were able to say, guys, can you please help us? We are being abused. We're being sexually abused by people in our entertainment company. We need help. And people are like, oh my goodness, let's help these boys out. Let's rescue them. Let's put things into place in order to get them out of the company. Yes, they are out of the company, but the company still is active. What happened after that is that a campaign was done on Korean television of different Korean idol group rookies and trainees who spoke out about the abuses that they are facing. But that's it. We saw the advert, we saw the campaign, and it ended there. Nothing happened. Nothing happened at all. So yes, Koreans are trying to create their own cancel cultures one way or another, but it's seriously not working out. They are trying to speak out, they are trying to create free speech for everyone, but it's not working out. People are still having to live their lives being victims and being scared and having to face their abusers on a daily basis. And their abusers have powers not just in the music industry, but in the education system and in the government as well. And this is what is happening at the moment in Korea. On the other side, if these K-pop managers and CEOs do get charged, then the whole K-pop industry falls down. Then these victims are not left only with the fact that they had been abused, but they're also left financially at a disadvantage. They no longer have a job anymore, and they're left with nothing. So there's also that to also consider. So that's why it's very difficult for anyone in Korea to do anything about the whole issue. Because if then these people do get arrested, then who's going to run the companies? Then everyone is not going to benefit from these people being thrown in jail. Then the whole economy of South Korea will be negatively affected, and jobs will be lost, not just within the music industry, but also in other sectors in Korea as well, because the money that is used from K-pop and from Korean cuisine and from the Korean wave go to the different respective departments or different respective sections within the country, like sports, tourism, education, and the likes. So if the whole Korean wave crashes down, the whole economy crashes down, the whole country will crash eventually. So these men will never leave their position. They will never be thrown in jail. There will always be someone who will be self-seeking and be self-ambitious, and they'll only care about themselves. So that is why they will never ensure that these government officials, these K-pop officials, face jail time. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey of explaining cancel culture within K-pop. I hope that you've learned a little bit of how the K-pop industry works when it comes to issues of cancel culture and when it comes to issues of crime. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a nice day. Bye.